podcast. Back together again.
You got fat.
All right.
BW.
BW 2020.
Massive release.
This is our first MCU movie.
It is.
Episode 22.
Episode 22. I think this is what we thought we were going to be doing.
Yeah, every weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Major releases every weekend.
It didn't work out that way.
Fast of night.
Yeah, upgrade.
Underwater.
Oh my god, underwater.
Dude, let's do Scoob. It'd be hilarious.
But now, it is time.
It is time. Finally. Black Widow.
This is bigger than all the DC movies we've done, for sure.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, this is like kind of smaller end on the MCU.
Is it?
Dare I say?
Is it like
Kevin Feige, this is our most requested movie. They're obligated to do this.
Okay, you know what? We'll get into that. I have a question about that later.
This movie.
Oh my god. Let's get through the cast billing here, starring Scarlett Johansson, David Harbour,
Rachel Weisz,
and Florence Pugh.
Oh, there's another one.
You know Florence Pugh?
No.
She's in Little Women.
Oh yeah, she's playing this hyped character I'm hearing so much about.
Yeah, she's playing her sister or something. Yeah.
I haven't seen Little Women.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Is she good in it?
She's okay. She was nominated for it.
Right.
She's a good actor.
Yeah. So I've heard that she, is amazing in this. So this is a movie that obviously has been delayed several times. Again, I don't want to trash this movie. I'm excited to see it, but it does kind of fall in that like F9 umbrella of like pre-COVID. I was experiencing a bit of Marvel burnout.
Okay.
I was kind of like, I think this break may have been a blessing in disguise for the
I was
Marvel
thinking that
Cinematic
because
Universe.
they were able to just unload 3 TV series to kind of maintain, but they're not drumming up anything. So far WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. Those two were okay. You haven't started Loki yet.
No, I haven't started Loki
I've done
yet.
4 episodes.
I'm just going to wait for the whole thing to be done.
It's really good.
Is it really?
So far, really good.
I think I was a bit disappointed in the MCU in the sense of like after Endgame, I think it was unwise to... I liked Spider-Man Far From Home, but I think it could have used a break because it's like you built this huge franchise. Let it rest for like a year. It was like 3 months later the Spider-Man came out.
It's weird to cap off because that caps off phase...
That was the last of
finishes
phase
3.
So this was supposed to be the first of phase 4.
Yeah.
WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki ended up kicking off phase 4.
I don't know why they wouldn't have Spider-Man kick off phase 4.
They said
I actually watched it last night.
Oh really?
Yeah,
it's good.
It is quite good.
So they said that was like the epilogue of.
Oh, okay.
When you
say it like that, I'm all in.
and it is kind of like the grieving of Tony, and so I get that. But now I think this is a nice kickoff for phase 4. I'm surprised that they're going with this in other ways because to me this isn't gonna, and this is one of my like questions / predictions for you. Do you see this kind of pushing the envelope of like the larger story of where we're going in phase 4, or is this just a complete aside?
Okay, so yeah, I had this question for you because I frankly didn't have an answer. Right. So I'll rephrase I'll hit you with my question, but I'll give you an answer as well. So my question was, how will they make this installment a must-see for the MCU? Yeah,
and it's a great question. I think that'll be the one kind of letdown coming out of this movie. I don't see it even hinting at who the larger villain's going to be or what's next for the MCU. No.
That's interesting because I'm trying to think if I rack my brain here. Ant-Man 1. I guess I should preface this with saying I recently rewatched all 22 of the movies. Wow. It's been about 3 months or so, but yeah, Brent and I, we went through all of them.
And how was it?
Phase 1 was so bad.
Yeah. Well, Iron Man 1's good.
No, it doesn't hold up, dude.
No, it's good. It's fast. I watched it.
I guess when you watch Iron Man 1, it just hits a lot of cliches from what we've grown to see. It's growing into cliches now, so yeah.
It's the only one that I think is like a good movie.
So if I use Ant-Man 1 as a reference, it's small scale.
For a kickoff movie.
For a kickoff movie, exactly. No major villain, but the one thing it did introduce was Hank Pym and Pym particles. And that comes into play into Endgame, right?
Right.
So for this one, I have how are they going to tie this in and how are they going to make this a must-see? Because when you're going through the MCU, they're like, there's 25 movies now. I'm like, you actually don't have to watch Black Widow, but I think you're going to have to. I'm thinking some sort of Eternals reference.
But it's a spy movie.
I know.
How do you get
Shang-Chi, maybe?
Maybe. I've got one thing.
Okay, save it.
Yeah.
I just have written down, like, I'm sure moving forward now.
I'm getting excited now.
Yeah, for Phase 4, I mean, after seeing the success of Endgame and bringing everyone back, I'm sure that Feige and everyone at Disney have, like, a very, very succinct and tight vision.
They've had a lot of time.
They've had a lot of time, so I think maybe in this movie it won't be extremely obvious, but at the very end, if you were to go back, I bet you there's gonna be so many little Easter eggs, so many subtle nods.
I could see that. I think that we'll be looking. Do you think they went ahead and like they're like now because it's been so long? Do you think they had to retroactively go in and maybe pepper a few things in there to make this feel a bit more substantial? Maybe a new post-credit scene that they weren't planning before. Because Marvel have started doing it's always like a double now. You get a quick one,
a mid,
more of a jokey one, and then a serious one.
Yeah, it goes serious then jokey.
Serious then
jokey.
All right. I hope so. So before we get into predictions, can I give you my opening scene?
You want to do opening scene first?
Let's open with an opener.
Open with the opening. All right. Hit me.
All right. So let me find it. Open on Black Widow's eye. Very close-up shot. As we pull out, we see her falling in slow motion on the Red Skull planet from...
Vormir.
Or from Endgame, yeah. Thank you.
I recently watched Endgame as well.
Okay, yeah. So she's falling in extreme slow motion, and like you can see the ground in the reflection of her eye.
Oh, so she's living this out.
This is like, when they say like your life flashes your eyes. So it's like that's how we kind of get brought into the story. She's falling in slow motion. We hear a narration from her usual kind of like, I never had a family. It wasn't always that way. Or no, she's like, now I have a family now. But it wasn't always that way.
Oh, wow.
And then we get a big flashback to her as a child, a la Age of Ultron, when Joss Whedon kind of hinted at that backstory. I think we'll see a scene of her, like, very flashbacky, like, over, kind of desaturated, but all the highlights are really bright. Like, the window light coming in is really bright. And I think they're going to, like, go for something. Like, I think she'll have been abused. Like, it's kind of hinted at that she had, like, a really rough childhood.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see her getting, like, punished for maybe, like, helping a student when they were struggling. Like, why did you help her? She wasn't yours to help. And she'll get like slapped across the face or something like that. Yeah. And then you'll see her like try not to cry. And then we'll see like a quick montage of her as we get like the and then we'll get like that was good. And then I think we'll see and then it'll go to her growing up through the years, like becoming a chiseled teenage warrior, basically. And then seeing her kind of, because I know this movie takes place, like, when it takes place in the timeline, right?
I can't remember, but I do know it's 2 years after Civil War.
It's in between Civil War and Infinity War. Okay. Yeah. So I think we'll see kind of the events that kind of happen there, and then we'll open with her on the run when she was like a fugitive. Okay. I think that's going to just be exactly what happens.
I mean, surely we're going to get some sort of time play between present, so I'm going to call that Vormir, past as a child, and this 2 year after Civil War setting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll hit you with my opening scene here. It's kind of similar.
David Harbour.
Two little girls play fighting over a toy.
Okay.
And they're very obviously sisters.
Yeah.
A woman drives up and she's dressed in all black, and she says, Natasha, time to go. And she kind of pulls her away.
Get the accent one more time?
Natasha, time to go.
Okay.
And pulls her away from the girl she's playing with. There's lots of screaming, kind of like Magneto in the first X-Men. Yeah. And then she says, your training begins. And then we get the
Yeah. And that doesn't... Neither of those openings fill me with like a tremendous amount of confidence.
Which makes me think that they're not going to do that. Like, okay, I don't know about you, but for some reason when I think about this movie, all I can picture is the movie Salt.
Yeah. Or Columbiana.
I know they're smarter. They're smarter than just do like a run-of-the-mill spy espionage Red Sparrow type movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like it's going to be her on the run. She's going to get away from things. She's going to go back to her like hometown. She's going to bump into someone, either like her sister or something from her past life. She's going to help them out with something that they're doing. And then that's going to like expose a larger plot with the Taskmaster.
But surely it's more than that.
I don't think it's going to be that much more than that.
The question is, does it need to be more than that? And I don't think so. But they have been like, they delayed this movie. It's not going on Premiere Plus anymore. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's $25.99.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, they must have something up their sleeve. I think there's going to be tie-ins.
Yeah, so my big thing that's like, obviously MCU has a horrible time like letting characters stay dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember hearing a theory from a friend, like this is a long time ago, and he was saying that he thinks that this movie is basically taking place inside the Soul Stone, and it's like kind of a test and judgment of her character.
Oh, and whether she like wakes
gets
up
to be alive on that planet. Oh, no. So that's the last the post ending.
The post ending, she wakes up on Vormir.
On Vormir, and Red Skull's like, I have a mission for you.
You survived the task.
Yeah, no one has survived the task.
The Solver's hole. Yeah, okay. I mean,
hey, fuck. Kiddo. I feel like there. You know they can't kill her off.
I think they must. They must.
They killed her. They're already giving her a movie.
Let me give you some fast questions.
Okay.
Question number 1. Mm-hmm. Which Infinity Stone will we see, if any?
None.
None? Okay.
I'm done with stones.
Okay. How much Hawkeye screen time will we get?
Yeah, I've got here. Jeremy Renner cameos, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. It has
Finally
to
get to know what happened in Budapest.
That was my second fast question. Will we get to see what happened in Budapest?
Thank God.
Or how many Budapest reference will we get?
No, we get to see it, and I can't fucking wait.
You and I remember Budapest very differently.
And we'll find out why.
Okay, a couple notes here. So I just went through the MCU here again. So in Endgame, when they go on Vormir, Red Skull goes, Natasha, daughter of Ivan. And she tells Jeremy Renner, I didn't even know my father's name.
Okay.
So is David Harbour her actual father? I suspect not. I think him and Rachel Weisz kind of like rescue her from her like...
The ages don't quite
the spy
up.
Training and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite old enough to be her father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see David Harbour.
Yeah.
I think he's really talented.
He's probably going to die though, eh?
Yeah, he'll die.
And a very like emotional sacrifice.
Red Falcon, I believe, is his name.
Red something.
Captain America, but better. You're going to get a lot of Captain America references from him.
Yeah. I got lots of flashbacks written down. I think we're really going to explore her adolescence, like you said.
Yeah.
Hydra references?
Yeah, a couple Hydra references. My big thing that I'm hoping they do is, for some reason, I think we're finally going to get a juicy X-Men reference in this movie. Like, hear the word mutant for the first time. They got to give this movie something
maybe we got fucking Wolverine.
Sing!
Yeah. Okay.
No, we won't get Wolverine.
For some reason, I was leaning Fantastic Four, but I think they're saving that for Doctor Strange or Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah, Ant-Man Quantumania, I think, is going to introduce Reed Richards in like a supporting role.
Hey,
John
guys.
Krasinski and Paul Rudd.
Follow me.
Yeah.
Wow. John Krasinski.
It's
good
just
shout.
He's the only person who can play Mr. Fantastic.
And
Taron Egerton is my Wolverine.
Stop. Daniel Radcliffe.
We've all seen the Boss Logic fan art.
At the end of Winter Soldier, she releases all the S.H.I.E.L.D. files to the public.
Yeah.
So
you're so refreshed on the MCU right now.
So she does that to kind of spite Robert Redford. So I think that's going to be our jumping off point where someone tracks her down. Her past catches up with her.
Oh, God. I'm not running from my past anymore.
Exactly. Question for you. Do you think we'll see more of her sister, played by Florence Pugh, in the MCU moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that they've been like blown away by her performance.
Oh, okay, wow.
She is even being touted to be the new Black Widow.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And here's the $1 million question, I guess.
Yep.
Actually, I'm going to save that.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. No, I already made that prediction. So, yeah, here's the $1 million question. Do you want / do you think the MCU needs a Black Widow film? Really take the time to digest this.
I would say yes. It's kind of bullshit that all the other characters have had their standalone film except for her and Hulk. Hulk got a big role in Thor Ragnarok. Then again, she had a really big role in Winter Soldier. So like she's not a mainstay. Hawkeye's getting a TV show. So it makes sense. Like I just don't want them to give her like a pity tribute film, which is what this kind of feels like it is to me. Unless it does something really big and unexpected.
Yeah, so my concern is that I definitely don't want this to be a pity film. And like
pity film.
I think like she was like an excellent character. Like rewatching them, like fuck, she's actually like super badass.
She really commits to it.
And she does a lot of good like stunt work. Like it's very like Bourne-esque, very Mission Impossible, very Bond-esque. So I mean, like, I think the makings of a great spy espionage film is there. But what
I've heard them say is like and they always say this, it's like a different flavor for the MCU or whatever. But I have heard like ad nauseum, like the director say like this is a movie like it's its own genre in the MCU. So initially I was like, oh, this is living in that like Captain America world where it's like the more gritty espionage. But I think this might be, and this is part of my trivia, Scarlett Johansson said that a huge influence for this film was actually Logan.
Oh, okay. So kind of like a gritty send-off movie.
More like a gritty
all
send-off
right, yeah, I'm
movie.
down for that, for sure.
So it's like, not so much about all the spy and espionage stuff, but more so like a deeper character study. And if they can pull that off really well, and it's rated PG-13, a lot of the Marvel movies are rated PG.
Okay, so a bit grittier.
That's good. Yeah, might get a few like violent scenes, which will be nice. So I think it's gonna be good.
Don't tell me. I don't know who the villain is.
Oh,
you said the Taskmaster. Like I don't know who that is.
Oh, really?
I'll have to consult my Marvel encyclopedia.
Yeah, I did see. I won't tell you. Obviously, I saw a mild spoiler.
Oh, how dare you!
I know. I'm not gonna tell you.
I know, but even just bringing that up in my presence.
I know. I found out like who was playing the Taskmaster.
Oh, do not tell me that.
So
Jesus Christ.
Beep. Your face. I'll tell you what.
I just want to move past that right now.
You'll be happy.
Fuck you.
That's fine.
Stop. The producer's gonna give you hell for this.
John Miller's gonna love this character.
Stop it.
It's in one of his favorite movies.
Stop it.
Dun, 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 dun. Hugh Jackman. But can I tell you what the Taskmaster's like powers are?
No.
Really?
I don't want to know.
It's cool.
No, I don't want to know.
But it's one of my main things I've got here.
I don't want to know.
Okay.
All right. I have a new little segment here for you.
Okay.
It's unique to the MCU.
Okay.
It's called Paint Me That Stinger Scene.
Okay.
You can do Stinger Scene 1 or 2 or both if you're feeling it.
I'll go for well, I'm gonna stick with my stinger of her eye opening on Boromir or whatever it's called. Yeah.
You think she's gonna wake up in Boromir?
I think the jokey scene will be her eating food with Mark Ruffalo.
She's like, I really need some shawarma.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, with what's his name, Professor Hulk or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you sure, Natasha?
I mixed the brain and the brawn. Dab.
Put that on TikTok, Natasha. Oh my god. Do you think we'll ever get a Hulk standalone film? Well, he's in. They're doing the film in She-Hulk right now.
It's a show, though, right?
Yeah. How crazy is it that we're at that phase of the MCU where we're getting Moon Knight and She-Hulk? Like that's how deep this universe is getting now.
Yeah, good for them.
The worst one. I cannot believe they're making Armor Wars starring Don Cheadle.
Oh my god.
And it's about him trying to like dispose of all the Iron Man tech and the political ramifications. I've heard it's going to be the House of Cards of the MCU. We don't know that. There's also Ironheart with Tony Stark's daughter.
Morgana.
I Love You 3000.
Here's a question, I guess.
Is it getting silly?
Yeah, so I was just about to say, this is our first MCU, I guess, for first time or listeners of the podcast. Like, we're big MCU, we're big Marvel heads.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder why.
Well, I guess like
it's rare that the movies are truly great.
Yeah, they're just a lot of nostalgia for me, at least.
Yeah, and it's just when you see that logo and you see it's more the larger story I like than the actual individual movies. I like getting hints and trying to guess where it's gonna go and like having new characters introduced and seeing characters cross over. Like that's always fun. Yeah, and like which actors they're gonna get. Yeah. Like so who do you think is like possible to appear in this? I think Jeremy Renner. Yeah. So okay. One of my questions is, what other cameos are we gonna get? Yeah. I was thinking maybe Vision. So done with Vision. We've seen so much of him lately. We have seen a lot of Vision. Doctor Strange, I want to see more of. Maybe Bucky. Yeah. Maybe a post-Thomas appearance from Chadwick Boseman. Ooh, if they already had something filmed. Oh, can you imagine how beautiful that would be? That'd be good. That'd actually be really good. Yeah. Only if they had it filmed. I wouldn't want some CGI. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, just quickly touching on thoughts on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Just started filming, I believe.
Do we know what direction they're taking it
There's
in?
a lot of talk of is it Lupita
Nyong'o
taking over.
Okay.
I think they pretty much confirmed it's not Michael B. Jordan, which is what I really wanted. I think that would have been a beautiful way to do it.
I mean, that's just my inner Michael B. Jordan fan coming out.
Yeah,
so.
it's just you can see him like, I'm not ready. I don't deserve the mantle.
But he died, though.
I know, but that's in that afterlife.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We can bring you back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. Ryan Coogler's back?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if you saw the trailer, Marvel's What If trailer dropped today.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it looks pretty cool. There's the coolest shot in the whole thing. It's like the narrator's talking about how, like, you never know. It was like things could have been different. And you know the famous circle around shot from Avengers 1?
Mm-hmm.
It's like doing that, and all of a sudden it flickers to, like, Guardians.
Oh, wow.
But, like, it wasn't all Guardians. It was, like, a random mismatch of characters. And it was, like, it gave me chills how well they did this, like... And the animation style looks fucking incredible.
Nice.
It's, like, they have spared no expense.
So,
Captain Carter. That's in there, dude.
If I were to ask you the question... I feel like after Endgame, I think we kind of chatted about how maybe we'll take a step back from being huge Marvel stans. Yeah. Maybe we'll take a step back from doing the opening night thing. But yeah, here we are.
Thursday.
Are we taking a step back from the MCU, or are we all in still?
I mean, to be honest, if this was a franchise I was a bit more invested in, I think I think I'm still there. I mean, then again, 2 years ago, Loki drops. Am I able to wait 4 episodes without watching it? Probably not.
Yeah, true.
But I don't really feel like a strong urge.
Like the Marvel fatigue or superhero fatigue will come.
It has to. It's come from most people. Like,
yeah.
And I used to get quite defensive and like really fight for it. I'd be like, you just like, there's good and bad movies in every genre.
Yeah, you got to watch this one.
Yeah, but
it's actually
now
so
I'm
good.
just kind of like, yeah, like if that's how you feel, like that's fine. I still enjoy some of them. There's some of them I'm really sick of. Like, I mean, we need less.
We've been, okay, fuck.
I don't need Shazam 2.
I don't
need Deadpool 3. They all hurt our argument.
They do, yeah.
Wonder Woman 2 was pretty trash.
Yep. So I think this is year 11 or year 12. So if we go back 10 years, we were both 16, 15 years old.
Yeah, when
17,
Iron Man 1 came
Jesus
out.
Christ.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've definitely, in a sense, kind of as adolescents, we've kind of grown up through it.
Yeah, when the Spider-Man 1 came out, that was like mind-boggling.
Yeah, I remember my parents took me to the theaters
so badly.
And it was insane. It was so good.
It was so good. And Spider-Man 2 just lived up to that hype. But I like Spider-Man 3.
Dig on this.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that is a movie I'm excited for.
So yeah, let's see what Marvel's got in store for us this year alone.
We get Spider-Man this year.
Yeah.
Is it December?
December. So we're getting Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Legend of the 12
Rings.
10 Rings,
yeah.
12 Rings.
Which looks quite good. Abomination making his return.
Yeah. The Eternals.
Oh, wow.
Directed by Academy Award winning Chloe Zhao.
She was supposed to do this originally.
Really?
Yeah, that was one of my trivias.
And fucking Doctor Strange. No.
That's not this year.
No. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, which I've heard they've said is like the biggest, like aside from like Endgame, they're like people are gonna be mind blown when they see what's.
Are we still on the rumors on that, or is it confirmed at this point?
Main villain.
No fucking way. No fucking way.
I'm telling you, man.
This sounds like fucking ScreenRant.com.
Screen Junkies.
Screen Junkies.
No, it's like
you go to some questionable sites.
They haven't announced it, but there's pictures of him on set.
Oh god.
And Doc Ock. That one is actually confirmed. And Jamie Foxx.
Alfred Molina. Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx's Electro is also confirmed. And Tobey Maguire, that I don't know.
Toby's not confirmed, and don't you dare dangle that in front of my face. I think Andrew Garfield might be.
No, he's come out and he was very sly, and the guy's asking him in this webcam interview. He's like, I have to ask you, are you returning as Spider-Man? He's like, they haven't called me. They could have emailed him. Nah. And he's got this little look in his eye. I'm like, fucking Andrew, you sly dog.
Pull that if they pull that off.
We've got Morbius coming in hot as with Jared Leto. You just got cast as Kraven the Hunter.
I did. Fuck. Give me a hint.
ATJ, baby.
I don't know.
Aaron Taylor
Johnson is Kraven the Hunter.
Which is weird because now he can't.
That's a separate universe, though.
I know, but they're going to merge them. Y'all know we're getting Hardy. We're getting Willem Dafoe, Tom Hardy. What's his name? Alfred Moreta?
Alfred Moina. Moina, yeah.
We're getting Jamie Foxx, Michael Keaton. That's your Sinister Six.
What about that Scorpion in
No.
Homecoming?
Maybe you get Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. Oh, I'll join your team. Okay, so back to Black Widow.
Holy shit. All right, that was a little foray into the MCU
I got some trivia for you.
Here. All right, let's go back to Black Widow. Go for it.
Who was originally the front runner to play Black Widow back in Iron Man 2? And I believe she got pregnant, and that's why she had to drop out.
Who was it?
Emily Blunt.
Oh, that would have been really good. That would have been really good.
Probably better.
Yeah.
Marvel approached over 65 directors for Black Widow. And Kevin Feige was basically like, we wanted to get it right. So they spoke to 65. That blows my mind. How do you pick someone out of that?
Yeah, like
there's no way one person
go through your portfolio and kind of
interests me. I already said this. Logan was named by ScarJo as a heavy influence. RT score current. You want to hear?
I don't want to hear it.
Okay. This one you're gonna love. Who originally auditioned for the role of Yelena Belova?
That's Florence Pugh's characters.
It was down to these two.
I feel like Emma Watson or
Correct.
something. Really?
Emma Watson.
Yeah.
That would have been so good.
Wow.
And this was you should know this. What film is this in the MCU?
Oh, fuck. You're going to make me count these out? Oh, you mean at total, or where does it slot in?
What chronological number is it?
Chronological number?
No, like numerically.
Oh, numerically. This is 23?
24.
24. Okay.
So one behind James Bond.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of an interesting fact, too.
Huh.
With all the TV series and stuff, it's long eclipsed James Bond in terms of duration of films.
Yeah, you know what? I'm really excited. I think they got something special up their sleeve for this movie.
I hope so. I'd like to see like really good fight scenes.
Yeah, so I just watched the teaser again today in sort of preparation. Looks good. Camera work looks good. Yeah.
It's got
hand-to-hand combat looks good.
It's got that really good CGI look.
Yeah.
Not like Avengers 1 bouncy CGI.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be nice to be kind of a little bit grounded. You don't have to worry about like, we always run into the issue of showing like, oh, how strong is Thor? He's super strong at this in this moment, but then now they've kind of nerfed him down, right? So now,
Cap extra strong.
Exactly, but now we have an even playing field, human characters who are
Except I guess Red Falcon is supposed to be. He's got this.
He's a super strength or something.
I feel like he was supposed to be like the Russian Captain America when they were competing. I think that's what the angle will be.
Okay,
but now you got fat. I'm strong. He doesn't open a big door.
Still fits.
I can't drink vodka, but I try.
I think David Harbour's gonna have a lot of fun in this role.
Yeah, I think the big reveal, the big thing they got is mutants. That's mutants. I'll go out there and guess that.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I'll see you in 3,
2,
1.
Back.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're back from Black Widow.
We're not alone.
You're not alone. Oh. She's not alone.
She's not alone.
There you go. All right, Anthony. Let's kick off this podcast post show like we always do. Yep. Out of 10s, ready? 3, 2, 1. 7.58. Teetering 8.
Yeah, I was at a 7.5, and it was like after finishing my whole review, I kind of dropped it down to a 7. I'm open to being talked back into a 7.5 by the end.
Okay, yeah.
I don't see it swinging much more.
When I did my notes, like I was kind of looking for reasons to bring it down almost, and I really only landed on one major thing, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about. I've just got a bunch of things here that I really enjoyed about the movie. Starting off with, really enjoyed the. Not that every single scene in this movie is like small scale, but the small, intimate, human side of the film I really enjoyed. Particularly the camera work. It had kind of like this indie film vibe. A lot of handheld.
The opening scene was really like grounded and nice.
Yeah, super grounded, and it didn't have that like typical Marvel flashback vibe where you just feel like, okay, get me through the scene so I can get to the rest. It felt like it was like this is part of the movie.
Yeah, we're taking time to explore this.
Yeah, and in particular, like the setup that really stood out was when she's on the run and she gets located to that trailer mobile home where she's just gonna lie low and she's just watching the movie. I'm like, this is so different for an MCU movie. Like I'm just seeing a character watch a movie and like the way she like knew all the words to it.
Yeah, it was a good character film.
Yeah, like that's something I could totally see in like Nomadland, you know.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed that style. The quieter scenes, I felt like they took the time to be quiet. They weren't rushing to get to bigger and better things. Choreography in terms of the fight scenes was a huge step up from F9. If you think about like the difference, it's like kind of embarrassing for like F9. You're supposed to be like this hand-to-hand combat.
This hand-to-hand action film, and then
you're getting your ass handed to you by like Black Widow, which shouldn't really happen. But action scenes.
But am I surprised? No.
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. However, like some of the recent MCU outings, like one always comes to mind for me is like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like garbage fight scenes. Guardians have pretty garbage fight scenes. So it was nice to see that return to like always compare it to Winter Soldier, but like
that
really
first
quick, hard hitting fight scenes.
ScarJo versus the Taskmaster on the bridge there.
Yeah, when she takes him by surprise. Yeah,
unreal scene.
Really, really good. And then when she first meets her sister at the apartment.
Yeah. In Budapest.
That fight scene, really hard hitting, creative. Oh, what's in my environment? Kind of drawing from the Bourne series a little bit.
Yeah, definitely Bourne vibe.
Can't speak highly enough of those scenes. Taskmaster design, stunning.
So cool.
Stunning.
That's one of my complaints. Is like, fuck, I wanted to see more Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster killed it. The retractable knives, like the whole way the suit was put together. That kind of like, don't care if I kill you or not, as long as I accomplish my objective. Yeah. I really like that. We've seen it before, like some draws from like the Terminator, for example. But like, it was just nice to see. Like, really enjoyed those scenes.
Yeah, I thought it was very like ominous. Like anytime you saw the Taskmaster, you're like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And so that was all going really well. First like 2/3 of the movie, I'm in like the 8-9 kind of range. As we kind of push forward here, ScarJo just gives her all. It's a shame that she gets outshone in her like solo film.
I feel like it was kind of done on purpose though,
because they're trying to pass the mantle.
It wasn't like
Pugh.
Yeah, it wasn't like she was. I don't think ScarJo's kind of looking back at this film and she's angry. I think she got a great send off.
Yeah,
and like her character didn't get shorted anything. I mean, obviously Florence Pugh got the funny lines and she's kind of the new fun character, but
she's just something special. Like right away in the first scene she was in, like there's something about her. I think it comes to like I've wrote here like her naturalism, her characterization work that she's clearly done on her own time. Like, you know how actors, like they always say like the best actors know so much about their character that you never even know.
Okay,
like they explore their backstory, they know their favorite food. I feel like she did that work and it kind of shone through.
Okay, yeah. Like
such a well-realized character. It was quite surprising because she doesn't get a whole lot of time to like, you don't learn that much about her. You get that cool flashback of her as a young kid, but she's kind of in the backdrop.
You get the dysfunctional dinner scene where she really shines.
Yeah.
Where she goes like, the family was real to me.
Exactly. Yeah, and like she's got that edge to her. She's very sarcastic, but like kind of emotionally vulnerable at the same time. And that really stood out to me as like the highlight of the film, which is kind of, I know everyone's saying that.
Oh, she steals the show.
Yeah, but she really did. She really did.
Okay.
What else do I have here? So she elevated it. And then, kind of moving on to some of the negatives. I found the third act, the film started to spiral out of control for me a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So I have written down, where is it here? Yeah, the third act is a bit messy and a bit choppy. And I'm not saying, because it was three kind of different things going on. We had the ScarJo with Ray Winstone.
Right.
We had Florence Pugh and Rachel Weisz sneaking around.
Yeah.
We had David Harbour
with the weird
fighting.
masks for some reason, like the Mission Impossible masks. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. And then we had David Harbour fighting. So we're switching between these three tonally very different. And it was a bit jarring. And that's not to say each one individually wasn't interesting, but to blend them all three together, kind of like, it's the classic action movie climax. What we see now, there's three different things going on, but they didn't really blend together that well. They felt kind of independent of one another. Yeah,
it kind of felt to me like the movie panicked a little bit and kind of went back to formula. It was like, well, we need a big like evil plan at the end, and I didn't really understand the evil plan. Like I thought, to put it this way, like I thought Ray Winstone for me was like the worst part of the movie. Like I did not need a generic supervillain, not even a supervillain, just like a mustache twirling.
Really, I kind of liked him as like this kind of despicable villain. I could have done without the kind of world take over the world aspect.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if it was just like, you know, he's like almost trafficking these underage girls, and it just
like more
or not redeemable, and just kind of like, you know, we're gonna stop this here.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just didn't get like I honestly didn't really understand like what the bigger plan was, and like it just felt all very convenient that like this has clearly been going on in the background. Like the timelines of it just didn't really make sense for me. Mm-hmm. It was like we've got ScarJo on the run, and that was like a great time to catch her up. But then it just happened to coincide with like her backstory also culminating concurrently, and she just kind of stumbles back into her past.
I mean, that's just movie writing, man.
Yeah, but I just feel like that was something that you should have. I think the connective tissue like wasn't as strong as it could have been.
Okay.
In that sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. I'll kind of get into what I have here.
Yeah.
So for my like the good stuff, I like what you said, the first 2/3 of the movie, like amazing. I was like super engaged. What we said about Florence Pugh, I also like the smart writing. It was really good humor. I know you just mentioned you watched Far From Home.
Yeah, rewatched that.
And there's kind of like some kind of cringy slapstick, like when the teacher drops his camera in the canal and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of geared towards kids. It felt like this one, it didn't rely on that loud and goofy funny. It was like it was more smart, and like David Harbour is kind of this character that says funny lines, but at the same time you're just kind of like, man, like just shut up. And like the meta joke about the hair toss and the superhero landing and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was kind of funny.
No, I'm saying I like that. I enjoyed that.
Good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that kind of humor. It didn't rely on like silly dumb humor.
Right.
There's no slapstick.
Yeah, there was no just generic or like there's no humor side, comic relief like side character.
Yeah, exactly.
It had these like characters that had a lot of characterization to them.
It felt very human. A joke that you would make in the moment.
Exactly.
It wasn't over the top, wasn't inappropriate. It was like, oh, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it made sense for the character. Like we see David Harbour in the flashback sequence, and he's in the kind of peak of his career, and then he's been in prison all these years, so it makes sense that he would be have a few screws loose, and.
But he was so like self-obsessed.
Yeah, but also like self-loathing because he was like supposed to be a father figure for these girls and just kind of completely let them down.
Yeah. So that's what I have here. I like that they didn't give him like a redeeming arc.
Yeah.
Like he was supposed to be this father figure, but in the entire movie he was really just this selfish character.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they took that direction.
Totally. I found that Rachel Weisz's character, I never really like, she had like a nice redemption arc, and I enjoyed her interactions, but I felt like we kind of culminated at the end. We stop Ray Winstone's character. We have like the cool skydiving scene. Yeah. And then all the other Black Widows are now just on this like side mission with like David Harbour and Rachel Weisz, and that for some reason that just like didn't do anything for me. Like it didn't fill me with anticipation to see any more of those characters. Yeah.
I feel like the writers could have given Rachel Weisz something more to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my I guess the things I didn't like is I've already mentioned, like more Taskmaster. Nice little reveal there with Olga. Yeah, producer's gonna love that. Producer John's gonna love that. But yeah, there was a moment where Taskmaster kind of does the Black Panther claws.
Yeah. The
movie cuts away, and we come back, and they're fighting differently.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see so much, because that was the thing I wanted to tell you in the pre. I was like, I knew that Taskmaster imitates people's powers, and you see him or her. So, yeah, typical, you think it was a he. Yeah. So it was kind of cool that they switched that. Yeah. But you see her researching, like, all these other heroes.
The Hawkeye thing.
And you barely get any of that.
Yeah.
You get, like, one arrow from Hawkeye, and then you get the Black Panther claws.
But, I don't know why would you show the claws and not show us, like, 2 or 3 blows or a couple of
people
tags?
would have loved that. And one of my big complaints with this movie is like it's kind of a nerdy, like kind of a superficial complaint, but it's like I wanted slightly more like connection to the MCU.
Yeah.
And the larger plot. So it's like, if you're not going to do that, at least have like, I'm tired of Captain America references. Like he's just the only thing that pops up in these movies. And
yeah, I guess, well, my question for you is like, this movie does not have many MCU ties.
No. Not that I noticed.
Yeah, but does that detract from it? Like, does that... So we talked a lot in the pre-show about how, like, how are they going to make this an MCU must-see? You know, when you buy the box set, are you going to skip this one? And this one, I mean, it doesn't really tie into the MCU that much, but as a standalone film, it's great. As a spy thriller, it's great. So for it not giving you any more towards the MCU, do you detract points on that?
Yeah, it's kind of a lose-lose for them, because we complain kind of both ways. It's like, oh, this movie just exists to set up other movies, and then it's all like, you know, this movie should stand on its own. I think you have to find the answer lies somewhere in the middle. Like, you have to find a nice balance of setting up the larger plot. Like, that's what made the early MCU movies like so engaging, even though the movies weren't amazing, was that you're constantly like getting these little hints of and getting excited by what was next.
Yep.
And I really feel like they've put the brakes on that recently. Like, the movies have felt a lot more contained.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not that many in. We've just had Spider-Man and this one, and like the TV series, which feel very contained. So I would say like, yeah, like it's almost, I don't think you're giving Black Widow her due diligence, because yes, she deserves her own awesome movie, and she has that, but you also have to make it important. You have to make it important to the overall story. And it felt like you've just kind of given her this like side story, and we've pleased the fans who wanted it, and we can check it off of the list, and now we can just move on. So I don't think this movie will stand the test of time in terms of the MCU.
The MCU, but as a movie on its own, it's quite good.
It's quite good.
So I'll ask you again, did you detract points for it for not contributing to the MCU?
I did.
Okay. And I tried to not, so I'm going to say I did not.
I did. I probably would have given it like a 7.5 or an 8, because I think like I'm not ranking this movie the same way I rank any other movie. Like I'm looking to be fulfilled with that like childlike excitement for what's next, and it didn't do that. And I guess we can kind of transfer into the post-credit scene, which to me was like Disney Plus level of just like inconsequential, don't care. Like,
yeah, so I guess you've seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, so for people who haven't, I guess it wouldn't even make sense if I tried to explain it.
It's like we're squabbling at this point to get a Hawkeye reference.
Yeah, apparently that was supposed to come up before.
Yeah,
I'm sure you read that.
So what's her name?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Right. She.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, it is her.
And
okay.
Veep.
Right. Okay. So she is now like, she seems to be this like anti-Nick Fury who's recruiting. I think I did a little bit of research. It's called like the Dark Avengers. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Okay. So I knew she was the anti-Nick Fury. I didn't go that far.
So it's like there's this, or it's like the Dark Avengers, and she's recruiting like almost members. So she's obviously got Wyatt Russell, Captain America. She's got now Florence Pugh, you would assume, who we can now pretty much guarantee will be appearing in the Hawkeye show.
But I feel like that beef is like, it's one interaction. Like, it's so easy to like clear the air. No, we're actually best friends. You can come meet my daughters and like, all right.
Exactly. Like, who do you trust? This random woman who just approached you, or like me, who you know is Black Widow's lifelong best friend?
Yeah. And she even says like, when they're in the vents in the subway in Budapest, she's like, yeah, me and Clint stayed here for like 2 nights.
Yeah. So for me, that's a poor post-credit scene.
It started off really well, man. Quite emotional, actually. Visiting the grave and like
seeing all the other. I was like looking for the tributes. Yeah. Like, is there other things to pull?
And then you get the weird nose blowing horn sound.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, are we doing a joke now? Pretty funny moment here. For those who don't know, Antony and I watched this movie separately. So there was a kid in my theater, probably about 11 or 12, and this post-credit scene rolls up, and he just goes, "What? She died? She died? Like when she got in the jet at the end? She died?"
Oh my god!
And he had no idea. And then as we're leaving the theater, I can kind of hear people whispering like, "Yeah, remember? I think she died in the other one." And it's just like,
yeah, people aren't. Hey, that's what happens when I think COVID's a huge part of that, because
people forgot, or
big break, and people have just like not as caught up as they were, because I guarantee everyone in that theater seen Endgame. They probably just don't remember that even happened. So like it's unfortunate because like the more we're actually talking about this movie, the less it's doing for me.
Really?
Yeah, because
if I could sum it up here, I have this line here that says, does not contribute to the MCU, but if you remove that lens, it's a great action film with some great depth and themes to it.
Is it a great action film?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, think of how many shit fucking action films come out.
Okay, so the action scenes were great, and I remember thinking in the theater, I was like, remember the impact these scenes are having on me, because
we just watched 2 weeks ago. We watched F9, which is supposed to be a great action film, and it was boring as hell. Was this movie boring?
No. It was a good movie. It's one of those unfortunate movies for me where it's like there's nothing wrong with a movie. There's nothing wrong with it. There's lots of good things, but there's nothing that will like really stay with me aside from like Florence Pugh's performance.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna argue and say that you're wrong at that point.
Like the prison escape scene,
loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it. Yeah, it was my favorite scene.
So we get this okay. So they go pick up David Harbour's character. He's been there for God knows how long. He breaks that guy's arm in the arm wrestle, which was really cool.
A bit triggering for you.
Yeah, 100%. A little bit of PTSD. And then they come in the helicopter, they break him out. And
don't oversimplify it. There's a good guy, there's a bad guy, and they win.
That was the big moment, like the big halfway action scene.
Yeah, it was sick. It was a good action scene.
Didn't love it.
Okay. That's fine. I did have one more thing I didn't like, and I don't know if you picked up on this, but throughout the movie, David Harbour's character is constantly saying about how he hates Captain America and how he kicked his ass, even though he's making it all up. When the Taskmaster has the shield and is acting like Captain America, I would have loved a little payoff to be like, he's fighting like the captain, and then he just like invokes some Soviet rage, and they just kind of go at it toe to toe.
Because it's like his moment to say, I fought Captain America.
Exactly, and it was weird because it felt like that moment was set up multiple times throughout the film, but then they didn't touch on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was some wonky editing going on in that third act.
Maybe a few things that got cut.
I mean, we've already seen with the Black Panther.
That's actually a really good point. Like that third act felt very chopped up. Like
it just felt chopped up, and like individually, like I said, each thread was great. But when they chopped it up together, it just didn't work out for me too well.
Did you know that, just to kind of switch gears slightly here, so there are some deeper connections to the MCU.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember this, but Dreykov, who was Ray Winstone, was actually mentioned in Avengers 1 way back when Loki is talking to Black Widow, and he's like, "You're Black Widow, Dreykov's daughter."
Oh, yeah.
So they were saying that could either mean he's saying like you're the symbolic daughter because like he kind of owns you, or he's bringing up the fact that she killed Dreykov's daughter to like, like get her ledger read.
Okay.
So there's some cool moments there.
Yeah.
How like whether that was like, planned or just like
just like retooled convenience.
Yeah, retooled convenience.
Do we want to briefly go over predictions here?
Yeah. At one point, this is what this podcast was about.
Yeah. Opening scene, I had two little girls play fighting over a toy. There was a toy involved.
Yeah, there was.
A woman dressed in all black. It kind of happened.
Yeah, you got that.
Which Infinity Stone? We didn't see any. You got that. Will we get to see Budapest, or how many references? We kind of saw a little flashback.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't just like completely fan service that.
Yeah.
We just got to hear more about what it actually was about. Because that's when she killed Draco's
Yeah, you know
daughter.
what? I kind of wanted a full scene, but now that I'm thinking about it, what they did was a lot better.
That was a bit too obvious.
How much Hawkeye screen time? Not much. A lot of references.
Just a photo.
Yeah. That's all right, though.
I think, like back in the day, I feel like that post-credit scene would have involved Hawkeye and like a cool little action scene. It just felt like a quick pickup day. Let's just go and like whip out our token. Like the movies should be the bread and butter, and the TV shows should feed into the movies.
Do they? Are the TV shows like?
I mean, Kevin Feige says like they're just as important as the movies. They're not.
You can't expect people to watch.
Exactly. So like, give Black Widow's post-credit scene more sustenance than like setting up a Disney Plus show. And And that kind of, I think, symbolizes like still the fact that they didn't quite give this character the gravitas that she deserved.
Good point.
Like we didn't get any. What was it? What's the planet?
Voromir.
Yeah, like we didn't get any larger hints or like larger. Connections.
You're really hard at all that. You want some connections, and you know, to your credit, we did talk about that a lot. One of the things I have here is how will they make this installment a must see for the MCU? Did we get a Hydra reference? I think we did. I think the word Hydra was mentioned.
Probably, yeah.
There was a prediction for, I said it's not her true family, it's adopted. I did say rescued. That's not true.
Yeah, you were right. I didn't think the ages matched up, but David Harbour was like her father in a sense.
I did like how it was all just for like a spy thing though.
Yeah.
And it was just 3 years.
Exactly. And it was like the closest thing she had to this like stitched together childhood. And she ended up having, I liked how she referenced at the end that she has like 2 families. And it kind of gave her character some closure.
Did she say that?
Yeah, she's like, now I got 2 families or something like that. This is my other family. I can't remember. Paraphrasing.
I said David Harbour touching sacrifice. We didn't get that.
No, touching sacrifice.
I'm kind of glad we didn't, to be honest.
Do you think we'll see David Harbour and Rachel Weisz? Like, are we going to see that thread expanded upon?
We will see them in a upcoming show.
Oh, really? Is that confirmed?
No, not confirmed. Is my prediction, because you know how these MCU shows are kind of whipping out. Like Evan Peters is coming out in WandaVision. Like, so you'll get David Harbour in maybe in a couple of years.
Like Ironheart or something like that.
Exactly.
Do you get a feeling that like this universe now is getting so large that we are starting to like trip over our own feet continuity wise? Like there's so many powerful entities in this universe all circling around on Earth alone. And it's getting a bit like, how many big organizations can there be? How many plots can crop up at once? Like how many evil plans can there be that don't intersect with each other? And like it's getting hard to keep track of now. Like you've got now this faction of like he's just as powerful as Captain America. Yeah,
I remember watching Endgame, like when Captain Marvel arrives on Earth, they kind of like, where were you? And she's like, not every planet has the Avengers. Yeah, that's the one line that kind of answers. Oh, okay, I guess that's where she was during the Battle of New York and Ultron. Yeah. But like something like the Eternals is coming out. They've been here since like the dawn of man, and it's like. Okay, well, Thanos.
You've got Wakanda. You've got Luke Cage is out there somewhere.
All right, settle down.
Yeah. So my bigger point here is I think it's time to look at this universe a little differently and start bringing in the multiverse so that we can not be shackled by the continuity of this world. Let's leave this universe entirely for a bit. Let's go and explore like another multiverse. I
just feel like the second they introduce, they're probably just racking their $1 million minds that how can we present the multiverse in a simple, digestible manner. Yeah. Because if it gets too complicated, you will lose a lot of the casual viewers. Yeah, the beauty of it is that you can just like, it gets you out of a lot of like writing conundrums. Like once you've established this world, you can have a world where there's just Spider-Man. You can do a world where. But then does that make other worlds matter less? Like that's what I always struggle with. And then you bring them all together. No. Whenever you need to, you got John Krasinski's post-credit scene in that fucking fantastic car. Stretches to close the door. Yeah, like in this world, you cannot bring in Fantastic Four and X-Men as well. No, you can't. Because X-Men is like, that is a huge universe that they're about to like play with. And I think that's why they're really taking their time. Because they know that it's a Pandora's box. Okay, here's a question. Okay. Well, no, this as we begin to wrap up here. Say someone's listening to this, they don't really care about spoilers, but now they're reaching the end of the podcast. They're looking at Disney Plus Premium Access, $35. Not a chance. 35? Isn't that what it is? I thought it was 25. No, I'm pretty sure it's 35. Jesus. So they're looking at Premium Access. Maybe they got a roommate. You split the cost. Recommend it? If there's 3 of you. Really, eh? 3 of you. I'd recommend it if you're splitting it the cost. And the only reason I say no to one person is 35 is pretty steep. Yeah, it is. And I think, okay, so the way I would summarize this movie, it sounds like I'm being a little bit harsh on it. Like, name a better action movie in the past 2 years. The past 2 years? Yeah. It came out in the past 2 years. Upgrade. Oh, God. I would say it's, in terms of MCU, if I had to, like, sit down and rank every single movie, it's probably, like, somewhere in the middle. Like, maybe, like, the upper
It's just above the halfway mark somewhere. It's a really good movie when you watch it and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I haven't thought about it much since I watched it. It hasn't stuck with me. But that's not really a fault to get. When I was in the theater, I was like, I can't wait to talk about this. But because we've done this episode even a little bit later after than we normally did, I've had that 2 days to digest it.
You've ruminated.
It's not aged super well already, which isn't a great sign.
Fair enough.
Don't be so upset.
Oh, no, I'm not upset. I was actually just thinking, I like that. Where would you rank it amongst the MCUs? And I realize I have a very strong bias towards powers and abilities.
Yeah,
I love seeing the showcase of abilities and stuff like that. So.
Let me just throw a couple at you. Is it better than Guardians 1?
No.
Is it better than Homecoming?
No.
Is it better than Guardians 2?
I think it might be.
Is it better than Thor: The Dark World?
What isn't?
Is it better than Iron Man 2?
Yes.
Is it better than Thor: Ragnarok?
No, I really like.
Of course it's not.
I really like Thor: Ragnarok.
Civil War, no.
All right, relax.
Winter Soldier, no.
You're just naming all the best ones. Infinity War, no.
But I've really saying quite a few.
Better than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, for sure. Ant-Man and the Wasp is right down there for me.
Really? I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is
so
probably,
forgettable.
It's probably middling. It's quite forgettable, though.
So when you actually start looking at it, Iron Man 1 is not better than, in my opinion. It's better than Iron Man 3.
Yep.
It's better than Iron Man 2. It's better than Thor 1.
We're just going to go through all of them.
Yeah, we're going to fucking do it right now.
All right, here we go. Better than The Incredible Hulk. Yes.
Yes.
Better than Iron Man 1.
No.
Better than Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Better than Thor.
Yes.
Better than Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yes.
100% yes.
I said yes.
I know. Better than The Avengers.
No.
Better than Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Better than Thor 2.
Are you keeping track of this? No.
Yeah, I'm writing these all down.
Yes.
I'm writing these all down.
Okay.
Better than...
It's testing you here.
Guardians?
You said Thor 2.
Thor 2.
Captain America 2.
Oh, yeah. It's not better than Winter Soldier. Is it better than Guardians?
No.
Is it better than Ultron?
That's a close one.
I think it is. I think it is.
You know I'm an Ultron fan.
I know you're an Ultron fan, but looking back on it...
Yeah, it's better.
I think it is. Yeah.
That's a big win for this movie. It needed that.
So now that we're comparing it, man, it's doing quite well.
Yeah, it is. It's a good solid movie.
Better than Doctor Strange?
Oh yeah. I didn't hate Doctor Strange, but I was disappointed because the movie could have been better.
It could have been better, but it spent a lot of time doing Origin. But that's for another podcast.
I think you'll find it's going to be worse than... It'll probably be the worst Phase 4 movie. I think Eternals is going to be sick. Doctor Strange 2 is going to change the world.
Shang-Chi looks pretty good.
Shang-Chi, yeah, it looks good. Shang-Chi looks good. Spider-Man 3 is going to be the best movie in the history of the MCU.
Yep. They're putting all their marbles into that one.
Peter? I'm glad she got the send-off that she deserved as a character. I really think she came along, from Winter Soldier on, she started, getting better and better and, really stealing the show. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was, sensational in Endgame. The way that after the blip, and even Captain America's kind of given up.
And she's eating the peanut butter sandwich.
She's just she's not letting go of being an Avenger. Yeah. And she's she just loves her job and she's happy with her redemption. Mm-hmm. And now that all makes this movie adds some nuance to that performance now, because she'd had that finality of finding who her family was. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to go back and see the post Black Widow movies.
Okay.
I think that's why she was happy to sacrifice herself, because she felt like she'd done all these horrible things, and now she had done this great deed and freed all the other Black Widows and kind of redeemed herself. Yeah. And got closure with the woman that she thought she killed. Yep. So that to me is big because it kind of plugs into the larger universe a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. What if you're Kevin Feige, when would you have released this movie?
I think he had it right.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. No, I thought you meant before, maybe right before Infinity War would have been a bit better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because then it would have given her death even more gravitas.
But it was filmed after.
Yeah. So people are saying,
you could not have released it after, in between Infinity War and Endgame.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, before Infinity War, it would have been really good. Yeah.
All that matters, they got there eventually. Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll ever see Black Widow's Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow again?
I'm sure for Avengers 5. Yeah, maybe 5.
Like a resurrection
5 to 10
or
years
a flashback?
From now. 5 to 10 years from now, I'm sure they'll bring everyone back.
How are they going to do that?
Some sort of resurrection.
Multiverse. Dude.
Multiverse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We'll get Chris Evans. We'll get Robert Downey. Robert Downey would be easy. Just toss him in a suit.
I don't think you get those two for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I thought you said 5 years.
5 to 10.
It won't be as impactful. You need like 5. You need gray hair Tony for that. What's the next MCU release?
Shang-Chi. August.
August, hey?
Yeah.
So we've got Shang-Chi in August. We've
Eternals
got Eternals in
November.
Spider-Man in December.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of MCU to come.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. So, in conclusion, summarize Black Widow in 2 sentences.
Okay. Great action film. What it lacks with MCU, it makes up with depth in themes, in acting, and humor.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a very nice summary. Well done. All right, then. Well, we'll be back very soon. Maybe with Shang-Chi, maybe something in between. We'll see.
Jungle Cruise, July 29th.
Oh,
who knows?
Really down.
It looks kind of fun. All right. Well, thanks for listening. I've been Aman.
I've been Anthony.